So I have been thinking about this talk a lot, and I am really eager to share it with you. And this is such an interesting method, and I was a little bit honestly nervous about talking to you over video and then sending it out. But I have been just so pleased with how connected I feel with you. So I really hope that you can feel that connection as I speak to you today. I was asked to talk on the topic of unity, and I really want to tell you that I think that seeking unity in our lives has the power to change it. During Christ's life on earth, I have been studying a little bit about his prayers lately, and it touched me a little bit differently to realize that while Christ is on the earth, we actually know some of the things that he prayed for. If you were to look up the prayers that I have written down in my journal, you would find the deepest desires of my heart. You would. Anything that I pray for, I think in general, is the things that I really yearn for. But then the things I've both prayed for and also taken the time to record, those are really the most important things to me. So we know in John chapter 17, verses 11 through 23, it says that Jesus prayed that all may be one as he and his Father are one. And then again in 3 Nephi 19:23, in that scripture, Jesus prayed for unity among his disciples. So we know that one of the deepest desires of Christ's heart was for his people to be unified, and specifically for his disciples to be unified. So I think that it's kind of interesting to ponder for a minute that Christ has already asked our Heavenly Father to help us, that we could be one with our brothers and sisters the way that he is one with the Father. And then also that he believes that's possible. So I think that is twofold. One, to know that we already have this significant help of having Christ having prayed for us, that we could receive that, but also that he believes in us. And I think that we can take that with us on our journey to being more unified. So this is the point where I would like you to take a second and ponder your own life and places where you could benefit from more unity. I really want to make the point first, so that before we talk about this, that the tools I'm talking about are not tools I'm talking about for abusive relationships. So if you think that you are maybe in a relationship that might be on the side of being abusive, I would suggest that you talk to somebody you trust about that and seek other tools. Okay, going back to these relationships that I am talking about, where we have some bitterness or we've been wronged and we have some discord that we want to improve upon so that we can have more unity. I think it's interesting to think that for me in my life, and I'm assuming this is the same for you, that the person that I'm frustrated with or annoyed with or disappointed in doesn't even have to know that I have those hard feelings. Those can be living just inside me, and that to me is proof that it's not even affecting them. It's really just affecting me. I could have a conversation with you about this unjust situation, and we could both be entertained by it for a while, and I could easily convince another person, even you, that I can't believe that they would do this, and of course I have bad feelings, and we could both feel together on that fact, or what we see as a fact. But the entertainment of those conversations is fleeting, and I would like to say that I think that the effects of the way that affects my overall life is similar to going on a hike and having a rock in my shoe. Just say that I was to leave that rock in my shoe and continue walking. I would start out and that rock would feel like a little discomfort, and maybe it would be on my mind and I'd be like, oh my gosh, that's annoying and that there's a rock in my shoe. But over time, the longer that I hike, the more of a problem that rock is going to become. It's going to be more of a nuisance. It's going to affect my overall demeanor. It's going to perhaps cause a blister. The longer that I hike, it might even affect me for days then, not being able to walk without having the effects of maybe some limping or certainly some discomfort. And that's a lot like living with bitterness or with resentment in our lives and this disunity, discord in our lives. In real life, I would never keep walking with a rock in my shoe. I would take the time that it required to stop and take my shoe off, dump it out, and put it back on and start fresh. And that would allow me, because I know that would allow me to enjoy the process of hiking and enjoy the views and enjoy the conversation that I have without the nuisance of that discomfort that I am carrying around in my shoe. So I'm going to say that is the same thing with carrying around bitterness and resentment. Instead of working towards the greater goal of having unity amongst us. So the following is lessons from my life on things that I have done and had success with in really just forgiving and seeing things from more perspectives and moving on with unity instead of holding on to resentment. The first thing that I want to mention is that sometimes this is really hard. Sometimes it can feel daunting to clear up conflict in relationships. But I really want to point out the Relief Society motto, which is charity never faileth. Because I think that is a really, really big promise to us, that because the love of God, it never fails. So it's something that we can apply to this and have faith in it that it never fails and it won't fail us. So we're going to clear up the contention in our lives by applying charity. And first of all, we're going to apply this charity to ourselves. So just like the rock in your shoe, if you take care of the feelings of discord in your life, the number one person that is going to help is you. I know that's true from personal experience. Feeling like the problem lies with the other person takes the control out of your hands and gives it right to them. So my first tool is to take back that control for yourself and work on your own feelings so that it can benefit you, and realize that that you're doing this for you. It's okay, and it's probably like a really high road to do it for somebody else, but you're doing this for you. Does that sound selfish? I don't think it does. I don't think that is, but I hope that you hear me in the way that I'm trying to say it, in just that unity absolutely helps everybody, but by taking control of this and by forgiving them, it's not giving them the power to be stronger or have power over you. It is, you are taking control of your own life, and just like you would hope that they would take control of their own life, and clearing it up so that we can all together live unified. So that's that. So then I'm going to move on to the second tool that I really is going to help all of us. And that is to take time to look at your own life and what you need to thrive. This is the reason why I point this out, is because we need to be able to meet our own needs, and we need to, I feel like especially right now, think of what we're going through and how hard life is in a lot of ways. If you are letting like all the little discontents in life get to us, if I'm not gonna say you, I'm gonna say we, if I let that get to me, it affects everything in my life, and it makes me have eyes to see all the little things that are going wrong, because I'm already on edge. So I think it's really valuable to realize that oftentimes when I'm upset with somebody else, it's because my own needs aren't being met. So I will tell you, for me, I've done this. I just really need to feel connected to like a lot. I need to really feel connected. So that, if I don't feel connected, I can start feeling like maybe I'm being excluded, or I can feel like somebody's not prioritizing me in their life. But really, the truth is that if I can focus on, and I can know that that's my need, and then I can take steps to meet that need, then I don't have the same, like discontent with the way that other people are treating me around me. And I think it's kind of powerful to know that I have the ability to help that. I think it's powerful to know that I have those needs, and if I don't meet them, that I might feel sad. But if I do meet them, then it like makes my life better. And by doing that, it makes everybody around me's life better. And this is going back, I'm trying to go back to taking the time to know your own needs and thinking like, what do I need to be able to thrive in life? So I maybe ask yourself, do you feel lonely? How much friendship do you need to thrive? And so maybe your needs aren't really surrounding this idea of connection and people. Maybe you have other needs to thrive, but whatever those needs are, if you can address them and try to meet them, then I think it will really, again, help you take power of your own happiness. But also, I think it will help you to feel like happier with the people that are around you and the way that they're doing things. Okay, so the second thing is that you can know that your insecurities lie to you. So what I mean by that is that your insecurities are going to want to tell you that you can't do things. So for example, I have a daughter that just started high school, and she didn't know very many people from her high school. So before she went to school, we spent a lot of time talking about like when you go into class, you're going to think that everybody there already has friends, that maybe somebody doesn't want you to sit by them at lunchtime, or maybe they don't want to come over to your house to watch a movie if you whatever. And that's just your insecurity talking to you and kind of naysaying the things that you want to do. And I think that it's really also, again, powerful to know that your insecurities are going to lie to you, and that you can tell them that they're lying. So in that scenario, she can say, actually, probably everybody needs a friend. I don't know anybody who isn't happy when they make a new friend. And everybody is going to feel, anybody would want me to come sit by them at lunch, because everybody's new and everybody's trying to get to know people. So, this really reminds me, and I might get teared up. Actually, I think I just fixed it, so I'm not going to cry. But, this reminds me of my grandmother's funeral, because, her sister spoke at her funeral. Her sister was significantly younger than her. I think like 10 to 15 years younger than her. And I think maybe just 10 years. So my grandmother had come home and helped her come get ready for a dance. And she was at the time in her middle teens. And so my aunt was in her middle teens, and my grandmother was older. She was married and living on her own. And she had come to help her get ready. And her sister said how nervous she was to go to this dance, and my grandmother just looked at her and said, "Are you kidding me? You are so cute. Of course everybody's gonna love you. Like, don't doubt yourself. Just go in. Of course they're gonna love you." And that's what I want to tell you, because I think sometimes when maybe we don't feel part of something, it's because our inner critic is just telling us that we don't belong. Our insecurities are saying, making us second guess ourselves. But I just really want you to be able to tell yourself what my grandmother told her sister. Sometimes I listen to that in my own head. Like, turn it around and just say, I've got this. Of course it's going to work out. Of course they're going to love me. And I just want you to take that with you. So another really important skill that I've learned in my life is that another thing I tell myself when I'm feeling nervous or I'm feeling like all of these things that my insecurities tell me, is that I remind myself that everybody feels that way. I think it is like, instead of being divisive, because sometimes those feelings can make us feel really divided, I think that if we can, when those feelings pop up, if we can know, like, everybody feels this way sometimes, and it doesn't make it true. In fact, the fact that everybody feels this way sometimes kind of makes it not true. Like, when your insecurities lie to you and tell you that something's not going to turn out or make you feel uncomfortable, I think it's good to realize that everybody feels that way sometimes. So when you feel it, it doesn't make it real, and it doesn't make it true. So you can dismiss it, and you can say, like, listen to my grandmother again, go back to that and just be like, everybody feels this way, and of course this is going to turn out. Okay, so the next thing I want to say is, you're going to hear it and you're going to be like, yes, of course. So this is probably one of the first things that I would do, is pray for guidance. And specifically, I'm talking about like this idea of unity. So in this case, what I'm talking about for praying for guidance, it would be, first of all, praying that I can have God help me to forgive. And then second of all, it would be that that God could help me find my place in whatever setting I want to be unified in. So that can look like maybe me standing on, maybe I'm looking on my way into something that I see as a circle that I don't belong in. So the way I would approach that is, I would stand on the outside and I would come and I would pray to God in advance of going, that my eyes can be opened and that I can see how I can belong, meaning that I can find the people, and then my eyes can recognize the people that are my people, and my connection into the circle, so that I can make those important connections I need to feel part of things. And then I would do exactly that. I would go with that idea in mind, and I would watch from the outside and see and have faith that God's going to help me. Because remember, going back again to that prayer that Christ made, that we will be unified, he believes we can do it, and he already has prayed for it, and he already wants to help us. We know he's on our side to help us. So pray for the guidance, and then know that it's going to come. The last thing about being charitable towards yourself that I want to mention is that being different does not make us incompatible. I just really believe that our differences aren't that different, and that we can come together and find so much in common with each other. So don't let differences make you feel like this friendship's just not going to work out, or like this, we can't be unified because we're just too different. And then in addition, adding on to that, something I feel like adulthood has taught me is how much better I am because of when people who are different come together, it just deepens our understanding of life and makes our lives richer. Okay. So not the last thing, but the next thing I want to move on to is having charity for others. So we talked about how charity never faileth. So when we're having this problem of not feeling unified, that we're going to apply charity to the problem to fix it. And so the first thing I wanted to talk about was applying that charity to ourselves, and how we can fix problems by applying charity to ourselves. And now I'm going to point out how we can apply charity to others to fix the problem also. So first thing that I want to do is tell you a story. So in the last few years, I had an opportunity to work with somebody that I really love and respect now. But I will tell you that in the first times that we were working together, I had a really hard time. The way that we just were so different in our approaches to things that really stressed me out, and it made me feel justified in feeling like I was doing more of the work. And I it was stealing and sucking some of the joy out of the process for me. And it made a lot of sense that I would feel that way. So I knew that this was going to be something that I was going to be a part of for a long time. And I really wanted to help make it a better scenario. And my idea was that I needed to pray and that I could have eyes to see her strengths. That explains it. I was so frustrated by her weaknesses that I just knew that I needed to see her for what she was good at, and then I needed to help her put that to work and lead with what she was good at. And I will tell you that changed my whole experience. And there were days when I was still frustrated, and I still left feeling like I had to do most of the work sometimes, and I still left feeling like things would be so much easier for me if she was just if she spoke to my weaknesses and could pick up the slack where I was not as strong. But my eyes were opened to her strengths and how beautiful she was and all the wonderful things she could do and all the things she added to the scenario. And I am better for it. I think she's better for it too. And that to me is such a testimony of how unity just lifts all of us. So my second piece of advice in applying charity to others is I want you to ask yourself the question, are you wrong about the story that you have told yourself that explains why they are the way they are? So the way this applies, I think that's probably already self-explanatory, but I really want to make sure that you understand what I'm trying to say, which is that somebody does something and it rubs you the wrong way, and maybe it hurts somebody in your family, or maybe it hurts you. And if you're anything like me, you automatically are starting to write a story about why they did that. And your brain is making sense of why that happened. And I want you to challenge that story and think to yourself, what other reasons could there be? Or maybe they have a really good reason and I'm completely wrong. I promise you that I have been really wrong. And I also promise you that challenging those stories that I tell myself about why people do the things they do benefits me. And by benefiting me, it benefits our relationship, which benefits both of us. So practice that. Challenge the stories that you tell yourself. You've explained why they do what they've done and why that's so frustrating and so annoying. Challenge that story that you've told yourself, because maybe you're completely wrong. Maybe there's a much more reason for you to have compassion on them and that you just don't understand it. I remember being taught as a youth that everybody has a secret, meaning like everybody has something that they're struggling with, and I'm not privy to that information, and maybe I can give them the benefit of the doubt because of that. So my third tool is something that I learned when I was in college. When somebody is like, you have these hard feelings, step towards them, learn more about them, get to know them better. Somebody who is really wise in my life once told me that if there's like a law of service, and that law of service is that when you serve somebody, you grow to love them. So if your service is getting to know them better, then use it. If your service is like actually like doing some physical act of service for them, then use that. But get to know them. Think of a way that maybe you can serve them. Again, pray for help. Move towards them and open your mind to loving them more. And I've had that work in my life. So I just want to end by letting you know that I 100% believe that unity can move mountains. When we are together, we are a force to be reckoned with. Satan's biggest tool is to get into our sisterhood and divide us, and get into the discipleship of our wards and our lives and our surroundings. And Christians and good people, if he can get among us and divide us, then we don't have the power that we have together. And we want to be powerful. We want to be strong, and we want to be able to be a force for God and a force for good. And the way that we can be the most powerful is by being unified. And you totally have the power to increase that unity. And think about how much more beautiful we can add, how much more beauty we can add to life by being more unified. We can totally do it. Life is hard, and we have mountains to move, and we can do it, and we need to do it together. And so I just want to let you know that I'm here to believe in you and cheer you on and encourage you and just empower you to know that as you work on this, that God will help you, that your sisters love you, and that it's going to be totally worth it. And that you can totally do it. And that together as a unified body, we are going to be so strong. So let's move mountains together. Let's make this world a better place, and let's decide that we want to replace our bitter feelings with love. And I love you, and I am grateful for our sisterhood, and I look forward to getting to know each of you better in person someday. Thanks. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.